We got some warm-ups going on here, and hopefully we'll get into the action in a little bit. As far as I can tell right now, things are looking pretty good. We've got about 67 bowlers getting ready to go here. Check the status of my streams while I'm at it. And that looks like me there. So let me see if I can pop out my chat for this while I get this going. The trick is to try to watch this in as many places as I can. And while I'm at it, I'll take a second to kick up a thank you video for the sponsors here for Outrun the Bear Singles. This is the singles scratch tournament, and I will cover 4 strings. I know that Chris Waterman is going to be covering more action a few lanes down, so we'll at least have 4 lanes of this tournament going. There are 22 lanes going, and here comes Danny's chat to get things started. So I'm going to kill my audio, play a little thank you video, and we'll go from there.
Sponsor the 4th string, the highest string throw, even if it's thrown, even if it's part of that high single, we'll get $50, and that's thank you to Chris Waterman for sponsoring the 4th string high single. And then we also want to give thanks to Chris Waterman and Mike Camperado for streaming the event, so we appreciate that. And then I'm sure a lot of it will end up on Candlepin Bowling TikTok, so make sure you follow them when Kerry comes in. If nobody has any questions, next ball is live. Good luck, everybody. We are knocking out. This is the bad news now. 20 bowlers this round.
So I don't know if everybody was able to hear the announcement clear, but the cut for this round is 20. So I'm going to try to bring in something I tried to do last time on this stream and was unsuccessful. My little stat tracker. So my hope is throughout the whole tournament that I will be able to tell you just how many folks are going to cut. And I have to edit this here. Hang on one second. Cut is at 20. I'll try to keep this going. I tried to do this last time. And Justin starts off on the head pin with a split. So probably not the perfect way. Nick tickles everything but the 4 pins. So we are live. I'm watching straight ahead here with Justin Scally, working on his 7 drop, just short of getting over. Is it gonna go anyways? No. Everything but 2. Nick with a pretty good duck. He's right on it. So good start for Nick. Justin, unfortunately, he's off his mark, but he trips the 2-pin forward and into the gutter. He's going to have to clear the lane, clear the deadwood. So we're off and we're going. There are 67 bowlers alive. Again, 20 people, the 20 lowest scores will get cut out of this tournament. What's that? I do Twitch, but I also have Candlepin Corner on Facebook. Yep. set.
Dan just got going the ball. Took everything with the 7.
Yep. Well, Justin Scally with a lemon drop. Uh-oh. Round 1. I have too many people in there, I think. We'll have to let him know. Nick on the fill. Heavy leaves himself a 4-6 split. Hopefully my spreadsheet cleans itself up. Yep. All right, Justin's still a little wild. Settles for a 7 in his second box. Nick trying to kick the 4 over to the 6, not so lucky. Looking for the 10, a little short, so 27 through 2 for Nick, while Justin's setting up there with 17. Put my stat ticker up because it won't matter until the end of the round anyways. Good comeback for Justin as he trips everything but the 7 pin. No wood to help him out. Nick coming in far from the left, a little bit of lift, dead on the head pin. Is he going to get out of it? He's still falling. I'm not sure if that really got better or worse for him. Justin gets over there, just happens to nick the 7 pin, but that's enough to pick up the spare. Some good wood here for Nick. We'll see if he can get a kick across to the 10. Nope, hit the 4 a little high on the cap. Kind of drove that back a little more than he wanted to. Scally doesn't want to wait. He's going for the fill. His hook's a little slow coming up as he punches in on the 3. Nick cleans up the 10. The 3 is his fill for Justin as he takes out the 3-5-9. This time a little off his target to the left, pulls across, cleans out the 2 and everything behind it. Nick, another good head pin hit, but the head pin wraps around the back, leaving himself the triangle to the right. Justin is going to settle for 8. So 38 through 4 for Justin. And Nick picks up 2 of the triangle, leaves the 6 over there. Justin's coming in, this time on the head pin. Getting a bit of a mix. Is it going to work out for him? Nope. Nick settles for a 9. Nick's got what kind of looks like right now the 7, 8.5 split. So he's managed to move the 8 pin probably about half its width off the spot. I must have missed, oh, you know what I did? I missed Nick's strike. I'm a bad person. Nick fails to pick it up. All right, so let me fix my mess. As Phil punches out a single, Justin settles for the 9. I'm gonna move to bowler 2. And I will get my replays going once I get settled. Chris Parkinson's first ball is on. Wow. Well, no time like the present, so let's grab a clip of that one.
Dean Sullivan opened up with an 83 half.
Nice. There's going to be some big ones today. Phil Clough comes back, starts out the second one with a strike. Chris Parkinson looking for the double. A little to the left of where he wanted to be. I missed Phil's strike. Still trying to get up to speed here. Parkinson settles for 8 on the strike as he punches through the head pin. All right, take it back to 7. I'm trying to see, but I'm gonna have to use my cameras instead. Phil looking for the double, also a little to the left. Chris gets the trip. Clean out for the 10. Phil trips out. The 3. Yep. What's that?
Just the line is just up the strike of the space.
Nice. Looks like Phil's going to settle for the 8 box. Parkinson's heavy on the head pin. Leaves the wing to the right and the spread eagle to the left. Kind of a strange mix there. We'll see how that goes. Phil a little off the head pin. Leaves the 1, 3, 7, 10. Chris unfortunately doesn't pick up anything on his second ball. Phil a little off the head pin, takes out the 3, 10. Oh! Chris unfortunately double bunny hole. So frustrating after starting out with a strike. He's settling for 32 through 3. Phil's unable to pick up either of the 2, so he's at 41 through 4. Chris off the head pin, leaving the 1, 3, 6 for a spare. Phil right back on the head pin, good and heavy, but not enough to get the 8 pin to fall. Chris follows it up with a nice clean spare. Yeah. I see it. I see him come up short. Excuse me. Phil takes the 10, so 51 half for Clough. Justin Lyonnaise is unable to convert the spare on top of the double. Oh, there we go. Chris Parkinson with another solid strike. So, ends up bookending his half, 62 plus 2, as Lou Gacharna and Chris McDonough step up. We'll cut over to them. Both of them on the head pin. Lou sets up a pretty good pace as he picks up the spare right out of the gates. Chris pulls it a little tight, so he's still got the wing to the left, the 2, 4, 7. Just off my stream over there, Justin Lyonnaise has an 81 half. And Chris is trying to figure out how he didn't get that corner to carry. Settles for the open 9 box start. Oh! Blew right through the middle. It's a tough game, I'm telling you. You sit there thinking you're throwing that ball right where you want, and you just punch out the single pin, and you're sitting there trying to wonder what happened. Lou settles for the 9. Chris's first ball to the left of the head pin, leaving himself the 4 horse to the right. The nice thing about this is because I'm above, I can actually see around bodies and everything like that. Trying to see. Yeah. Lou's back on the head pin again. Now he's got to clean up the half Worcester on the left. So he's got the 2-8 and a straight punch to get it through. Oh! He's on it really solid, but unfortunately the 8 pin's hiding in the back. Chris back on the head pin, leaving the 4-7. He's got a plank out front that looks like it might try to play blocker. We'll see how this goes. Comes up to the high side, probably the right to call, and you get the spare to show for it. Lou a little off his mark, leaves the 1, 3, 8, 9. plank in the middle to help carry the back too, possibly. Chris a little short of where he wanted to be on his spare leave. Leaves the high-low jack with some wood. Lou misses his mark. Looking at the 1-9 to pick up the 10. Ooh, just off the head pin for Chris, so throws out the 10, still has the 1-7. Lou wraps the head pin around, but doesn't have any luck with it picking up the 9 behind it. And Chris, unfortunately, doesn't hit the head pin, so a couple of opens, have them at 44 and 45 as they step up to their final box of the first half. Lou, once again, on the head pin, as is Chris, but Lou's got a much better lead with the 3-6-10 versus Chris, who has an unusual setup with the 4, the 8, the 6, and the 10. Oh. Lou hits it high and wraps the 6 around the 10. Chris, I think he was trying to hit the cap of that wood and threw it right through the bunny hole. That one is no good for Lou as it comes out of the gutter. He'll settle for 53.5. And Chris with a raw break. So as it stands right now, there's everybody's halves. We had originally planned for the possibility of 4 bowlers on a lane. But up comes Nick and Justin. Or up come Nick and Justin to finish up their second halves. Ouch. Thanks, Ryan, for popping by. It's definitely going to be a heck of a long day of bowling here. I believe it's going to go 11 rounds to determine the winner. Justin trying to clean up what is almost a spread eagle. It looks good. Is it going to push it forward? Oh, everything but the 3. Hell of a ride. Nick trying to get the same kind of action to kick across for the 6 pins. No luck. So both of them just having to clean up a 6 pin for a 10. Justin missed his by a hair. Nick dead on. So again, here with Candlepin Corner, Chris Waterman is actually also streaming, should be on Facebook as well, just a couple of lanes down. So depending on if you have interest in one set of bowlers over another, you can catch me here on 15 and 16, or him on 19 and 20. Justin a little off the head pin, Nick a little on it. Nick was able to get away with it. He had a spare eagle, but one of the wings took itself out, so now he's just dealing with the wing on the left. As Justin a little off his target. There we go. Spare for Nick as Justin's looking for the 10. And a nice solid ball by Justin. Knocks the front 2 into the back. Hey Anthony, thanks for popping by. All right, Nick, a little off his mark, is going to settle for the back 6, leaving the 4 horse to the right. And Justin completely gets away with it. Doesn't hit the head pin. He would have had the 4 horse to the right as well, but leaves himself a 6. A nice follow-up by Nick for the spare. Justin, I believe, has a piece of dead wood hiding right in the light line. So pretty sure someone's going to have to chase that one down and remove it. We have runners. I'd go grab it, but I'm not supposed to. So a slight delay here as we are sending someone down the lane. Also, for what it's worth, I will replay the last strike so we don't have to sit here and embarrass poor Brian as he's trying to pick things up. See Parkinson's absolute crushing strike. Alrighty, See if Justin can clean this up for a 10. Actually, I'll take that back. For the spare, that's right. Missed the head pin. Still got a heck of a lead. And there it is. It was worth the wait. Thanks for the comment, Kevin. I appreciate it. I do what I can. All right, Nick's on the head pin, gets the wrap, but no love on the kingpin. Justin's waiting for the lane to reset. I'm sure Nick's gonna fire away at the woodless king. Oh! I'm telling you, it is amazing how little you can miss by. Justin wants that ball back, taking out the back right triangle. Settling for a free fill. Nick picks up the 10, so he's sitting at 120. Yep, I take that back. He's at 122, so what did I miss? $18, 39. Oh, I see what I did. All right, my mistake. He's at 122. I missed his strike, and it threw me for all sorts of loops. So he's off of the head pin. Nick settles for the, Justin settles for the 9. I will wake up this morning, promise. Alrighty. Justin's first ball in the 10th, still leaving it out there. Gets a little luck kicking through the middle of the pack there. Nick a little short on his as well. So Nick's got the 1-8-10 to pick it up for a 10. Justin with the 1-3-4-7. Looks like a good ball. No love. Nice out as Nick picks up the 10 for a 132. A really solid opening string in the Outrun the Bear tournament, where Justin looks like he's going to just get absolutely screwed by the corner wood. Settling for a 97. Not what he's going to want out of the gates. Phil Clough is already up and firing. He takes the wash. Not what you want. Come back at it. Knocks out the 3-5-8 as you hear Justin going by unhappily. Phil, beautiful pickup for a spare. Parkinson on the strike is on the head pin, leaves the reverse check mark. Phil Clough will be working on a spare. Wow, dead on the head pin, no love on the push, everything but the 4. Parkinson gets a little ripped off there, leaving the 7 pin. Phil right up high, makes it 2 in a row. Chris settles for the open to start it out, so he's at 80 through 6. Couple of big strings here as Phil is working on filling a spare. Phil, once again, spot on. Leaves himself the 5-10. I don't think the wood's really where he wants it, facing the right direction, but Parkinson, once again, real solid on the head pin, but gets a wobbly 8 pin lying behind. Phil coming up high, and the wood just kind of messed with itself and left him hanging. Oh! Chris finds himself just short of the 8 pin. And Phil picks up the bullseyes, so right through the bunny hole there, has to settle for the 8. Chris picks up the duck for the 10, so Phil is sitting at 96 with 2 to go. Chris at 90 with 3 to go. Phil a little to the left on the head pin, leaves himself reverse check mark. This is on the right. Parkinson's first ball, also to the right, but a good mix. Looks like the 1-3-9 is going to be what he's stuck with. Phil, unfortunately, doesn't get the 10 to go. We'll see if Chris can get the head pin good and high. Phil snipes the corner, so 106 with a box. Chris came up high. Is he going to get some push? No. I think he came up a little higher than he wanted. He really wanted to get that guy a little more direct and push through it, but unfortunately, there he is. Phil, again on the head pin, and again with some bad luck as he's left with a pretty nasty split. Chris Parkinson picks up the 10, and not 10 plus 0. So Phil has the 5, 6, 9, 10 over on the right, and the 7 dangling out to the left. He gets it. Oh, it's gonna go. It's gotta go. That's gotta. Oh, I'm gonna clip that anyways because that's just brutally, and that's just cruel and unusual. That 7 pin should have gone. I'm sure he's gonna pick this up for the 10, but that's a spare that should have been. Rough break for the senior there. 116. What's that? Yeah. 20 are out. Chris drills out the 8, so he leaves the bedposts. Swing, Phil. Settles for a 9, so he's got 1 to go. I see Lou getting there and firing away, so I'll try to keep an eye on his score while we wait on Parkinson before I cut the string over. Good ball by Lou right on the head pin. It took 4 or 5 hits before that 5 pin finally went down. There it is, Chris Parkinson. I'm not going to leave this string without another strike. Lou, oh, just off. Still sitting there looking at the 7 pin on his side. Parkinson's got 2 balls, so 119 plus 2. Which, while you might think that means 121, you should be able to throw more than 1 pin with each ball. On the Brooklyn side for him, strips away the front wall, leaving the 5 and 9 without any help. So 127, and then we'll see how he converts here. Lou up on the head pin. Chris settles for 1. So 128 for Chris Parkinson. Lou looking at the 2, 7, 8 with no wood. Oh, right through the bunny hole. You know, the hope probably was to kick off the 2 into the 7, and then hopefully get some action off the wall to pick up the 8 pin. But you know, you try to hit that, not where he wants to be. Snap. Over there on lane 14, Justin Lyon is 146, so that 81 half continued with a 65 second half. Chris.
Josh Daly opened up with a 153 game.
And Josh
That's a
Daly.
high game so far.
Chris McDonough, everything but the head pin. Josh Daly so far sitting on a 153 for the first game. Lou's off his mark, everything but the 1-9. Chris fails to convert the head pin for the spare. Lou does finally pick up a spare to get him going here. Chris doesn't like that head pin. No, that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. All right, so we'll see what happens here with Lou on the fill. He's off the head pin, but will it matter? Nope. Wow. You don't see it often, but you do see it from time to time. That's a strike without touching the head pin. I'm going to grab a snap of that. That's Chris McDonough misses his mark. Nice string, Chris. Not sure what's going on with Chris. Tall guy. Don't know if he's got an AC vent hitting him on the head. Lou off the mark again. Leaves the 4-horse to the right. Trying to keep his series of marks alive here. Got a good piece of wood up on the front of it. Absolutely. So, drills the 4 horsemen. 3 marks in a row at the end. Oh, Chris McDonough, a little light, settles for a 7, and I'm sure he's frustrated right now. 3 boxes to go for him. Alrighty, Lou filling that spare with a bunch. finally back on the head pins. Picks up 8 for a 127. Chris is on the head pin and he's stuck with the 5, 7, 10. But he's got kind of like the wood you like to see for the 5, 7, 10. If he can hit this piece of wood up a little high, oh, he pulled it. You want to hit the wood high so you can push that wood over into the 7 and then hopefully have enough drive that it helps you push the 5 into the 10. I think you're still a little solid on it. Has to settle for a 9. So Chris is struggling at 77 with 2 to go. Nice string loop. All right, Chris is back on the head pin, but unfortunately, another split. This one a little smaller. He's looking at the baby split, the 310 off to the side. So hopefully that comes up nice and easy for him here. Got a piece of wood to help deflect him in the right spot. Oh, and he went right through it. He's definitely struggling a bit today. See if he can pick up the 10. Mike Capone over there on 17. Chris shaves 1 out, so he's probably facing the cut at this point in time. I mean, I don't know what the cut is, but I'm seeing a lot of 120s and 130s out there. There we go. Nice solid head pin hit. Everything but the 6. No close wood to help him, so see if he can pick up the single pin to get him back over 100. No question about it. Alrighty, so Chris looking for the fill. Oh, he's gonna hate himself. A 3 fill, you can see him waving in frustration. Shake it off. I'll get my score sheet out of there. I'm gonna go take a quick break, play our little thank you video again, and I will be back for the second round. I lied. Steve Reno Sr. just popped by to tell me that Matt Nichols opened up with a 172. So the big strings continue out there. Again, now this time, I'll be back. Alrighty, let's get my mouth back on here. Now, my hope is going to be that I can pull in stats from the real spreadsheet, the live time spreadsheet for Candlepin chat. Sorry, not for Candlepin chat, but for all that's going on out there. Corey Packard, 142. Jason Gauthier Jr., 133. Dean Sullivan, 133. across. Twos. You know what I can do? Let's try this. I can't tell just yet, but I'm working on it. We got John Ahern over here talking to me as we are trying to figure out where the cut stands.
How many cut in the first one? How old are you now? 75?
You said 20? All right, so this should be valid for me to copy and paste. So let's see what it is.
That was 38 years ago. We bowled each other on TV. That's how long ago. Hurry up, do back, Lasco. That's part of your number. I know them all. That's all I know.
So right now, the cut looks like it's at least 114, but I don't have all of this. I don't have all of the data in. I'm looking to see if there's any strings that I see that I can provide values for, and I could. So I'm just waiting for them to refresh their stats. I've got it at 114 right now, but I'm missing numbers. So as more low scores come in, it'll lower the cut. Let me see if I bring up my tracker, if it's going to be still complaining or if it's going to bring people in right. There we go. So hopefully this will see people that have scores. I'm sorry? 172 for Matt Nichols, yeah. That is a good question. I think that's the highest that we have, yeah. There we go. All right, so Dean Sullivan, as you can see, he threw a 133. I'm going to try to track if a player is in or out, so I can manage stuff that way as well. Looks like most strings are in. Let me try this again. Let's see if I can get this. So Darcy, Kevin, and Aaron are the only three that I don't have yet. I'll have it in a second. All but three people. One second.
Nichols at a 172.
Yeah, triple something.
Oh, we got a triple.
All right, so everybody. Missing 3 strings. The cut's 112 right now. I'm missing Aaron, Darcy, and Kevin. So as it stands right now, I have 64 of 67 strings in. I don't have Darcy Welch. I don't have Kevin Caples. And I don't have Aaron St. Cyr. So at this point in time, bowlers that know that they're cut, the bottom 20 bowlers,
To
get cut
advance
out.
the next round without using a buyback, you must have bowled a 109 or better.
109.
109 or better. The buyback is $20. If you
So-
want to come see me. If you are
$20.
not buying back, please let me know so we can take you off the roster.
Darcy, Kevin, and Aaron. I don't have their scores yet. Hopefully, I will get them. I'll introduce them in there, and I get to scramble to try to figure out who the next bowlers are coming up in front of me.
If this was NSTs.
I assume that Nick, Phil, and Lou are all going to be around. I know Justin Lyonnaise. I don't know who the other two. Who else was bowling with Justin? Who are the other two bowlers on his set? Do we know?
I'll take a look.
I'll find it.
I
I think I have it.
Is it noon yet?
Justin was bowling with. I'm blind. Oh, Jason Doucette and Dan Esdale. All right, so it looked like we're getting everybody to move down and start throwing. So I'm going to bring up my score sheet, and hopefully I am right with who's bowling where. We'll see about it, because obviously bowlers shuffle around and collapse down here to the right as the game goes. Oh no! Let me reload my titles. Why am I getting prompted for streaming? I might be quality issues here. I am still recording locally. So, even if there's a problem with the stream, we'll still be good here. I do see Dan Esdale up there. Look at my data sources. Data sources look clean. And Nick is off to the races. So we have a head pin and a split. We do have Dan Esdale up there. And Dan is off to the right. Nick doesn't have a split to start it up, fell over, but he starts out with a spare. That is correct. Dan unable to convert the spare. All right, let's get my stuff together today. Dan picks up the 10. So as Nick settles up to fill his spare, that'll be the difference in the start for the two of them. We do a quick refresh over here. Nick on the head pin, wraps it around, and leaves himself the 5-8. Good wood setup. Dan's on the head pin, leaves himself the rear triangle to the right, so the 6-9-10, sorry. Nick looks like he's going to be straight on it, so a quick 2 in a row. Good start for Nick. Dan punches it, but does get it to carry. Forgive me if I'm not seeing your chat on Candlepin chat. I will try to get there. Thanks, Danica. Hopefully Nico will catch your support. Nick leaves the 7-10 split. He's got 3 pieces of wood. Looks like 2 that could split either way for him. Dan fills his spare with a 7, leaving the 1-2-7. Yep, Nick gave it the run the way that you'd expect, but no love. Dan, right back at it. 2 in a row. I'll put that one for him. Nick, unfortunately, doesn't pick up the 7, settles for a 9. Tough fill for Dan as he comes right in on the head pin, leaves himself the spread eagle minus the 7. Nick continues to be dead on the head pin, leaves himself the diamond on the left. He's got a piece of wood behind the 4 that probably shouldn't make a difference one way or the other. Dan picks up the right wing, leaves just the 2-4 to clean up. Nick, I would imagine, wants that ball back. Looked like he dropped it outside and just took out the 4. What's going on, Jason? How are you? Jason Doucette coming up to say hello. Dan misses his mark and has to settle for an 8 box, so 50 through 4 for Dan Esdale. Nick, great ball, right on the outside of the 2 pin to carry the sideways triangle, sitting at 52. The first couple of rounds, I believe all bowlers are allowed to buy back. Once they've used their buyback, that's it.
Unless they didn't use the buyback in
Correct.
the first 3.
Is the first 3 rounds?
Yeah, if they don't use it the first 3 rounds, they
Right.
can use it anywhere.
Right. Nick with a tough split, leaving the 4, 7, 9, 10. He's got some interesting wood there. Should allow him to try to push over to the 10. We'll see what happens. Oh, just like you'd expect, and launches 1 pin halfway back in his face. So 62 plus. And Dan settles for the 10, so a 60 half, which isn't bad, but again, this is a pretty stiff competition tournament here, so we'll see how this goes. I need to find Darcy Welch, Dave Barber, I'm feeling blind. Aaron St. Cyr got a 120.
I got enough sugar already. Alright, thank you.
Phil Clough still struggling and getting dangled with splits as he's looking at the 5-10. Justin's ball off the head pin and ending up as a split. Whoops, as I failed to capture that correct. Let's get Phil's spare save. Justin knocked.
Let's look at the pin in the other lane.
He did. I'm going to fix names, I promise. And a 9 out for Justin Lyonnaise. Phil with a 9 fill, but unable to convert the spare.
I'm checking to see if there's any big halves. Yeah.
Okay. But he does convert the 10 for Phil. All right, so let's see how Justin can do in his second box. Correcting something on Phil's score there. Yeah, they're going to fix that to a 9 fill. I think you have to change the 2. Justin settles for a 9. They're trying to correct the score. All right, Phil's back at it. He's still. Oh, are you kidding me? That's Candlepin for you, folks. Miss everything completely, get a strike. Justin tries the same thing, also off the head pin to the left, but it's sitting here looking at the 1-3. Phil this time on the head pin, back to splits. Oh, Justin gets shafted. Apparently that was a spare that I missed. Phil runs 2 out of the 3. Justin picks up the 10, so spare 8, followed by a 10, has him at 37 through 3. Little bluff settles for the 9 after the 9 fills, so 57 with 1 to go.
So far, we got a couple of 76s first halves. And
Mid 70 starts, huh?
78, 278s rather than 76 in the ball.
Wow.
Gentleman from Metro. Tim Douglas and Nick Lee.
Nice. So we got a mirror here between these two lanes. A couple of 4 horsemen going opposite directions. Justin's just off, leaving the head pin. Neither of them able to convert. Justin doesn't like that head pin. He's going to settle for a 46. We'll see what Phil can do with his. A nice out for Phil with a 67.5. Justin heavy on the head pin and pays the price for it, looking at the 610 to the right and the 7 with a piece of slanted wood over to the left. I don't think it's going to help him, but we'll see what he does with it. Well, he tries to punch out the 610 and just gets the 6 pretty solid, sorry. Lou starts right off. Justin settles for a 9. I'm going to cut over to the third bowler as Lou starts off with everything but the 10. Jason Doucette will be stepping up on 15 as Lou's looking for the spare with a collection of wood over there, right on it. So a good start for Lou, just what he needs. See when Jason throws. Kevin Capel. All right, now I can get back to where I want to be looking. Hey, Jeff, thanks for popping by. See Jeffrey Scott Little there, ACST champion. Lou with everything but the king. Jason's in. Lou right on it. Starts out with 2 in a row. Justin's got a 3 pin with some. He's got a piece of wood to the right that might block him. No, he chips through it. So opening up with a couple of marks here for the third bowlers. Oh, Lou's gonna want that one back. Comes up with a smile. So unfortunately for him, that's an 11. All right, Jason's Phil. Wow. Wow. He ends up with 6 out of it, but he hit that head pin so light for a moment, he actually just knocked out the front diamond. He ends up settling for the 4, 7, 8, 9. He's got a couple of pieces of wood that make this look like if he hits this on the line or left of it, it should go, and it does. The wood set it up, he took it down. Lou, good ball, but just short of driving back into the 9 pin, has to settle for the 9. So Lou at 39 through 3, Jason at 26 plus through 2. Nate Lee's over to my left is showing off the typical bowling prowess of hammering Gatorade and a donut at the same time. Oh, man. Jason gets everything. What? The 4 on a pretty solid pocket hit. Lou leaves it out a little to the right and punches out the side triangle, so he's got the 1, 5, everything to the left, and the 10 hanging out to the right. Jason makes it a nice and easy 3 in a row to start off his string. Oh, Lou, unfortunately, bunny holes. Second ball coming back at him, leaves him the 5, 10. So a little better, but not quite what he wants. Another solid head pin ball. Did I miss you one? Where did I miss you up?
10.
Oh, you had a 10 in the fourth? Thanks, Nick. Nick correcting me while I'm running all over the place this morning. Love it. All right, so 4 in a row for Jason as I trying to play catch up. Fix Nick's score and not look like a chump in the process. Lou with a 9 drop doesn't pick up the spare. Has to settle for the 9 bar. So 6 half for Lou. And Jason is putting his streak of spares in trouble as he punches out the half Worcester to the left. So he's finally off his mark for the first time, and we'll see how that goes. Gives it a hell of a run. He's right where he wanted to put it. Hits the head pin, shakes it around, but still looking at the 610. Jason with a nice clean half picks up the 10, so he's sitting there with 76 through 5. Bring back Nick and Dan Esdale. I want to make one change to my spreadsheet here. We cut 20, the cut was 108.
Like 3 or 4 70s. Yeah.
Nice. All right, so Nick continues to power his way through it. I turn away for a second, and there goes another strike. Fills his spare with a strike, 85 through 6. Dan's on the head pin, but he gets the wrap, so he's got the diamond plus the corner. Looking for 2! So the double for Nick as Dan picks up the spare. There was Matt Nichols.
Matt Nichols.
Yeah. Nick looking for 3. He wanted it. Came up a little shy. Settles for 5. Dan right on the head pin, strips the wall, and unfortunately for him, the 5-pin falls forward, trips over some wood and gets out of the way. Nick with a pretty spare. So 130 plus. Dan picks up the 10. So he's sitting there at 88. I take it back. He picked up the spare on a 10. Nick's on the head pin heavy. Gonna look at the 6-7. Now he does have a piece of wood planking in front of the 6 and behind it, but I don't know that's gonna give him much help trying to kick over to where he wants to go. Dan's a little off the head pin. He gives it the run. Not there. So Dan a little off the head pin has the 1, 2, 4, 9. Nick's got the 7 to go. All right. No worries. Dan's got the wrap, but no push. Nick's got the 10, so 148 plus. So far in the tournament, 172 is the high single. Oh. Dan's ball just doesn't scoot over like he was hoping. Has to settle for the 9. Nick's on the head pin, really thin. When the dust settles, he's looking at, well, he's looking at possibly a strike because it's not done. I'm going to take the split away because they continued to fall around and it knocked out the 7 and the 9, so now he's just got a 3-pin. Dan a little off his mark to the left. Oh, Nick missed the single pin. So Dan looks like he is, it doesn't look like the head pin, but he's looking at the 1-3-7. Gets the 1 and the 3, but a little too thin. And Nick just off 157. Dan settles for a 9. All right, Nick's not coming up, so no fist for him. So Dan's sitting at 112 plus the box. Phil Clough wastes no time getting right back at it. On the head pin, everything but the 4-7. He's going to finish his string before Dan finishes his. That looked like a duck. It quacked like a duck, and it went down like a duck. So, nice easy spare for Phil. Dan's on the head pin, but again, a little light. This time gets stuck with the 3, 6, 9, 10 to the right. Great piece of wood off of the 3 pin. Angled over at the 7 pin over there to the left. So, you should be able to hit this little pyramid high and heavy, and that should drive that piece of wood over to the 7 pin. Phil on the fill. Beautiful ball right up on the head pin, leaving the baby triangle over. Oh, Dan, just off the 3 pin that he wanted. So Phil's got the triangle over to the right. Dead on it. Dan looks like he is gonna settle for a 9 and a 121. So a solid string by Dan, but I'm sure he wanted more. Switch over to the second bowlers as Phil is filling. Fluffs on everything. Leaves everything but the king. And Phil makes it 3 in a row. 141. 157 for Nick, so he's got to throw 7. Justin comes up, shaves it beautifully, but doesn't get the 7. There we go. Phil finally dropped it. And I say finally like he hasn't been throwing great. But let's face it. Justin drills the duck, picks up the spare. Phil looking for the double! That's about as solid as you're going to hit every single ball on the pocket. All good drops, all good follows. Justin this time on the other side of the head pin. Another solid drop. Phil, not done yet with a spare. So 153 plus for Phil. Justin's off his mark. He does take the 9 Phil, but doesn't pick up the spare. Phil's finished, looking for 160 plus. Oh no, he's finally off the head pin. I jinxed him. So a 158 for Phil. Justin picks up the 10 with 84 with 3 to go. You know, Nick, you had a good string. You get to go home and watch it in HD. I know, huh? Justin, this time, dead on the head pin and pays the price for it. So he's looking at the 6, 7, 10. So the 6 and the 10 with a piece of wood between them. 7 with a plank in front of it. I don't know that it's friendly for him. We'll see what happens. Drill it. Oh, wow. He drilled it hard and the wood just kind of wrapped off the side wood. So now he's down to 7, 10. Lou looking at the 4 horse to the left. Justin settles for 9. Lou punches the head pin and the 4 pin out, leaving the 2-7. And Bunny holds it for an 8 box. So 64 through 6 for Lou. Justin's at 93 with 2 to go. Lemon drop to the left. Hope Paul Grant's watching at home or on the road for that matter. Yep. Lou, solid on the head pin. Oh no, he follows up the lemon drop with a punch out of the 2. 2-4-6 for Lou with no help. And Justin's got everything but the 2-4. Lou picks up the 2. Justin, probably a very small, safe ball. You don't want to go near the bunny hole, settles for 9. So everything but the head pin. 102 with 1 to go. Luke, absolute Lou. Lou, not Luke, absolutely crushes the single pin. So 74 with 3. Oh. Sometimes you hit the head pin. last box he didn't hit it. This box he wishes he didn't as he punches out the 1-5. So the mid-Worcester. It's almost like a spatchcock bird. What a run! Wow. Everything but the 10 pin. He's got a slant in front of it, so the 10 pin's not a gimme for the 10. Blue continues to struggle off his mark and doesn't pick up the spare. And yep, just like I thought that plank could be trouble, it was. Justin settles for a 111. I'm going to cut over to the third score now. Blue settles for a 9, so 83 with 2 to go. Nice string, Phil. You got it. Phil's great. Hey, Justin, Duncan, thanks for popping by. I'm sitting here playing catch up and feeling a little slow. Finally, Lou's back on his mark. Everything but the 7. Phil is amazing. Uh-oh. Jason. Unfortunately for him, he's back on the head pin. Looking at a spread eagle, see what he can do with it. Lou wants that back. Doesn't hit the duck in the corner, so. Ooh. Jason's not where he wants to be. I'm going to clear my ticker as I get ready to start updating it. Lou's struggling with 92. Still a lot of bowling to go for. Jason gives it a run. Settles for 8 as he tried to clip one wing into the other. Yep, Lou's suffering. He's back on the head pin. Another 2-4-6. Had it just a few boxes to go. It's got to be frustrating. Big strike from Chris McDonough over there on 17. Lou! That's wiggling. He'd given up on it. Almost went. Jason on the head pin. Wraps around and leaves the diamond. Lou picks up the 10 but has to settle for a 102.
Actually, I waited for Lauren.
Jason's just off his mark, has to settle for the 2. So he's still got the 3-5 to pick up for the 10. Oh! He chips out the 3, leaving the 5. All right, so we've got Jason up there. Jason once again on the head pin, once again with his split as he wraps around. This time he's got the diamond, but also has the 7 trailing off to the right. Once again, just off where he wants. Gonna settle for a 9 as he tries to recover from Forgive me as I'm trying to fix some stuff behind the scenes. Jason off the head pin, so he's looking at the 4 horse to the left. Just off the mark, cleans out everything but the head. Sitting at 102 with 2 to go. And leaves it there, so 111. We'd love a mark right here. There is some bowling still going on. I see Mike Capone cleaning up a spare for a nice 148 over there. Jason's showing off, showing that he can throw a ball way off target, but still get a pretty good, pretty good result. So, not ideal with the 1-8-10. He's got some great wood behind it, so this could go. He's off his mark, unfortunately. So, 119, possibly 121 if you can pick up these last two. And he does. So he picks up the 10. A frustrating half for him after a 76 start, but a 121. So we got a pair of 121s on this lane, and I will get my score sheet, cover the stats there. And then, well, I'll be the nice guy. I'll play the thank you clip really quickly as I try to figure out some stats. And, we'll go for there as I try to up. All right, we'll bring back the lane noise. I'm getting ready for string 3. We will find out. I don't know how many people they're cutting. I didn't hear it at the beginning of it, which is, you know, typical luck for me. So far, it looks like Phil Clough's 158 has actually been one-upped. Corey Packard with a 166. It seems like he's got the high for the second string. But yeah, we've got some bowlers shooting the breeze over here. Let's see what I've got for highlights. I know I've got a dead highlight in there, but let's run a few things through and let you guys enjoy some bowling here. A late slide kick for Chris. A hammer. I didn't grab a lot in this last stretch. You can blame me for that.
$20. You just threw 3 strikes and then 1-0.
Just doing some cleanup.
Check it right now.
Got his scores over here, but I don't have everybody, so.
I'm pretty sure that just we hit on total.
By like 1.
Wait, we did the math.
Did the math. Scoreboard watcher. 195 is a good goal.
So the way that I see string 2 looking right now through the bowlers, I don't know what the cut number is. I didn't hear what he said. I don't know if he said 20.
Yeah, it's 20.
Just 20?
Yeah, it's 20 again.
Sweet. That's easy to fix.
17 right now.
It looks like it's 117 right now, but I've got a whole bunch of strings that still haven't come in.
Yo. 109.
It was 109, but
Yeah.
108 was the first. I tracked the first one that's cut. So 117 is cut.
117 is cut.
So anybody that's red is dead.
They had to buy back.
They would have to buy back.
Does that factor in ties?
It does. All right. So who
There's
had?
there's a few 117s on there.
Nope.
There's 3.
There's 3. So we'll try to get this going. I will bring up my stat ticker just to see where things stand. Hopefully this refreshes itself. Itself. There are 20 people that will be cut out in this round. Trying to refresh and get all of the scores as quickly as I can. There is still 2 lanes bowling. So in theory I'd have everybody but 6, but I don't. Do I see stats? Why do I feel like it's missing data? Let me check this real quickly. Oh, that's why. There we go. That's the data I really want.
Ticker data. There you go.
So that pulls from my sheet so I can throw that data out there. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? A lot. So you can see now you're seeing reflections of multiple scores.
118. Yeah.
Oh, looks like it's been pushed up to 118, so I'm still waiting on the scores to come in.
No, I think that's what he. Last one he said he got a 1.
Ah, you did.
Why? My thing's way over here. Justin stole my sheet. Yeah.
Number 2 though.
That is right at the line. So Kevin and Keith stayed out. So I'm doing it over here so I don't interfere. So I'm going from here all the way down. Sort. That looks good. Take string.
To advance the next round without using a buyback, you must have bowled a 114 or better. That's a 114 or better. If you did not throw a 114 or better, the buyback is $25.
So Keith Beaupre and Kevin Caples are out.
Brand new game.
We'll see who else is out after this. I could probably figure out buybacks, but honestly, it's ugly.
Yes.
Because it's not sorted.
My kids can eat today.
And it looks like bowlers are off to the races for round 3, so let's clear this and bring this up and fix my score sheet. Oh, that looks a little better. I still don't know who's bowling first. Hey Nate, what's the bowling order on your set?
Whittier's, P,
And then Alaska. Thank you. Jesus.
You would go back. 1 triple strike so far.
I haven't heard of any others.
I saw Rock. He had a double tonight. This is the triple.
Pressure. Pressure, pressure, pressure. As Dan is off and would probably like to restart the string as he leaves himself a 4, looks like a 4-6-10. No wood out there. I'm sorry, 4-6-7. No wood out there really to help him. So. Nice. Chris also dead on. He's looking at the 4-10. Dan pops out the 2. Still looking at the 10. Come on, Mr. Lasco. No, it's hard to see what people's scores are. Dan Lasco giving me a hard time up here. So obviously with a couple of really tough splits for these guys to pick up, it doesn't go so well. But Dan does recover and picks up the 10. And Chris Winiar's right on the outside corner. Pair of 10s to start these guys off. So clean sheets so far. We'll see how this goes.
I had the gym work a little later, and then I just feel like I'm all the way down.
Sorry it's not near you there, Chris. Alrighty. Dan back on the head pin. Leaves himself a 4-7-8, which is really convertible. Chris also on the head pin. Leaves himself a 6-10. No wood to help it out, but at least he's up and going.
Not invited to the Baker's wedding.
Oh! Dan tried the wood. The wood is trying Dan. He's left with the 7-8. Chris misses his mark as well, so the two of them off to a little rougher start than they would like.
Knowing that she only has 6 friends.
Dan needing a 7-8.
Me, Lori, Barry, Kristen, and
Picks up one of them.
the only ones that like her.
Chris just needing the 6, doesn't get it, so a pair of 9s. 19 for the two of them through 2.
We got there way before Chris did. She kept making it known that she only had 4 friends.
Alrighty, let's see if these guys can get it on track. They're sitting there with a couple of opens. How you doing, Craig? Hall of Famer Craig Holbrook walking by saying hi. Hopefully you have to throw some big numbers out there. Dan once again on the head pin. This time, a good mix. He has 4 pieces of wood lying down to set up and line up the runway for him. There's almost, I can't imagine that this won't go in there. It looks like it's down to 3 now. Winiar is off his target. He's got 1-7. And sure enough, Dan's able to snowplow it through for the spare, get himself a mark. Let's see what happens with Chris here as he's looking at the 1-7. He has a piece of wood lined up between them, but I can't tell you for sure if it's really going to help him or not. Whoa! It went. I'll clip that one. The second hit looked really nice. So a pair of spares for these guys as they get themselves sorted out. Ryan Fournier going down there to take a look at a piece of wood. Esdale once again on the head pin. Another wrap, so he doesn't pick up his diamond. Liars also on the head pin, still mixing. Still mixing. When the dust settles, it's everything except for the 10 pin. And chips out the 6. Yep. He picks up the mark. Dan with a pretty pickup for the 10 as he chips the 3 into the 5 into the 8. Make it play like dominoes. It's always fun that way. You figured he'd get it. He was right there. There we go. They've corrected his score up on the scoreboard. Poor Dan way off his mark. Got his face in his hand over it as he takes out the left rear triangle. Winiars once again back on the head pin. Light with good action. But he's 3-5 with a split in there. Yeah. Dan's second ball punches out the half Worcester. Chris misses his mark and almost gets away with it. So I think all things said and done, he's annoyed, but probably not too upset over that. Dan suffers through a 7 on the finish, so a 52 half. And Chris drills the 10, so 66 through the first half of Chris. As upstate step, Nate Lees and Justin Lyonese. Alrighty. So Justin off to the left of the head pin, leaves himself the 1-3-8-9. Nate, solid on the head pin. A late wrap that fails to take out what looks like to be the 4 pin. Justin cleans up his mess. Nate's off his mark, unfortunately, so. Still looking at the single pin 4 for a 10. And he's on it. Justin, on the spare, manages to clip out the right wing. So it just knocks out the 3-6-10 for a 3 fill, unfortunately. Nate, a little off target there, this time to the right of the head pin. Leaves the 4 horse on the left, the 10 all the way out to the right. Justin's second ball is dead on the head pin, unfortunately, so he's got the 2-4-7-9 to deal with. Nate up solid, but doesn't get any love to carry over there and take up the 10 for him. So, a couple of opens here in the second for these guys. Justin will settle for an 8 to bring him at 21 through 2, and Nate a little tight there, so settles for the 9, and it's 19 through 2. As a reminder here, oh, Justin with a little backwards action on the 5 pin. Pick up the strike. Outrun the bear. I think they are down to 63 bowlers. It might be a few less if they didn't do their buybacks. Top prize is at least $2,000. They're paying the top 8, so big money at, on the line here. Nate a little higher than he'd want. Drills out the 4-7, leaves the 10. See if Justin can double it up. He's on the head pin. Gets a good drive. What you got there, John? What's that?
Chris Parkinson with 76 in the ball in his first half. And Phil Clough with 66 half.
Jeez. Scores are definitely up out here tonight. It's pretty good. Justin's first ball is a 9. Can he throw the... I think that channeled and came out. He's not calling. Oh, that's me. That's me. I'm out the bowler. So that's a spare. Nate settled for 9 out of the last one. He's off his mark again here. Justin's on the head pin, leaves a triangle. Picks off a pair for Nate, so just the 110 left to clean it up for a 10. A nice ball for Justin, so he's going to be sitting there at 68 plus for a half. Nate misses his target and has to settle for an 8. So he'd really like a mark here to put himself in position to carry it on through the second half and stay in this thing. That's a good start. Strips away the walls, leaves himself the 5-8, so basically throw that same ball a second time and he should be good. Jason Doucette stepping up to warm up there on 16. Oh! No love for Nate as he chips out the 5, leaves the 8. This time tight on the other side, so a disappointing 45 half. Nate leads. And up comes Dan Lasko. Jason's first ball, a little off to the right, punches out the half Worcester. Jason might have pulled that a little tight, making sure he didn't hit the bunny hole. Cleans up everything except for the 1-5. He has a nice piece of wood between him though, so pretty good setup for a 10 here. Dan's first ball. Heavy on the head pin. Is it going to roll and tap? It did, but not enough to carry the 6. That 10 fought a lot harder than it should have for Jason, but the 10 to open up his string. Dan shaves it lightly on the outside to pick up the spare. So good start for Lasco. Jason comes across the head pin. He's left with a 1-8. He's got a roller that potentially can put itself in the way. It's not far enough forward to be out of play. Nope, it's far. Dan on the fill. Solid on the head pin. Gets another little, he gets a friendly carry. He's looking at the 310 for a baby split. He's got a piece of wood in between. Jason gives it a ride, but unfortunately it doesn't carry the 8-pin for him. So Dan should be able to carry this just by hitting the 3-pin solid. And he pulled it. Don't know if he knew it when to let it go, but I think he did. Jason looking for the 10, straight on it. So pair of 10s to open him up. I should probably move over to the 3rd string, shouldn't I? There we go. Well, Dan manages to take 1 out of the 2. Settles for a 9, so 27 through 2 for Dan Lasco. Woo. Jason was square on the head pin. It looked like it was going to start out as a spread eagle. Has turned into just the right wing with a Lion Ace. Score is wrong. No, it's not. I'm looking at it up on the scoreboard. Jason picks up the easy spare, pushing it down. Dan's got everything but the... Justin didn't get a spare in the second box. That's the problem. It's on me, Justin. I just got to remove that spare. Thank you for noticing that. Part of the fun of trying to track the rounds as everything else is going on. I tend to miss some of the basic stuff. I had his score right. I just had a piece of ink where it shouldn't be. Thanks for watching, though, Justin. How you doing? I'm surprised you're not here. Did something not go right with the fill? Dan's on the head pin with a reverse check mark. Well, 1 pin better fill than I thought for Jason. I don't know if the pin fell down, I didn't see it. Lasco on the check mark. Oh, wraps around the 5. Jason's got the 1-6-10. He hits it right, but unfortunately it looks like a piece of wood that was sitting in the gutter kind of stopped it from carrying forward for him. Dan settles for a 9, so 52 through 4. And Jason cleans the plate, so 47. These guys would both like to hang a mark going into the second half. Yeah, it's me scrambling and trying to watch a bit of what's going on all at once. So I apologize for that, Justin, but thanks for keeping me honest. Dan's on the head pin again, this time looking at a 6-7-10, obviously the 6 and 10. He's got a nice little slanted piece of wood. I don't know if that'll be enough to help him carry over to the 7, but I'm sure he'll give it a try. Jason was good enough on the head pin, but it looked like it ran away on him a little. He's left with the 3-5-10, and the 1 piece of wood that was there went away from him. Dan pops out the 2, leaving the 7, and I got John coming in with some more updates here.
Okay, Billy Shiner at 66 half. Josh Daly at a 72 half. Bob Allard at a 72 half. JD Gauthier, he had a 76 half. And Danny Harris just had a double strike, but he's off and running another high string. He's sitting at 116 in the ball for weight.
Jeez. That's John Ahern running around having a good time, picking up scores and watching how the action's going on out there.
As long as I can before I get pulled.
So, Chris is sitting at 66, Dan's sitting at 52. Let's see if they can do something here in the second half. The strings have been high, the cut has been high, so.
Definitely the average is going up.
Yeah, there's definitely been some big numbers up there. Dan's on the head pin, but gets the wrap, leaves the diamond over to the right. See Bob Whitcomb down the end laughing. Chris also on the head pin. He's got the wing to the right and then the 8 trailing off to the left. Hits it high and hard, but he's left with the 8 and the 10 and no bridge between him. So we'll see if he can't kick something here or if he's just going to play it easy and take the single. Dan picks up the 10. Chris did what I would have thought to try to get both of them and manages to get one instead of both of them. Actually, the comments, Justin, it's a blast to do this stuff. I don't get to do it often, and I really enjoy when I do get to sit down and do it. So I'm rusty. I'm paying the price. Oh, there we go. Dan with a real solid pocket rocket. Chris also on the head pin, but a little thin. Had the check mark on the right, but the 10 dropped out, so just the triangle to the right. Matt Nichols was here for a second and then ran away. Dan looking for 2. Oh, he's got it. Let's fix some artwork here. There is a triple strike pool. It is split between all people who throw triple strikes over the course of the tournament. I believe in the first string. Oh, Chris punches. Punches right through the triangle. Matt Nichols threw a triple. He threw a triple strike in the first string, Justin, so he earned the salad. Chris right through the bunny hole a second time. Settles for an 8. Dan's trying to slow his pace as he's got money on the line here with his string. Guy's thrown many 300s in 10 pin. Somehow he hasn't done it yet in Candlepin. Well, let's see if he can pick up the triple. 3! Oh! Big, heavy hit. Great leave. But has to settle for 8. Chris a little off his mark. Gives himself the infinity gauntlet. The 4-horse off to the left. And then the 6-10, the 10 off to the right as I'm watching Dan pick up the 6-10 for the spares. So 120 plus a ball through 9 for Dan as he's really, those couple of strikes will put you right back in the hunt in a hurry. Chris just off his target, so he's got the high-low jack with no wood. Back in the old TV days, this was a lot of money. Right now, it's worth 3 pins. Oh, he hit it right. Sent the head pin off and around, but he didn't catch the 7. Dan is heavy on the head pin. Is he going to get a leaner? He got away from the split. It was looking like a 2-7-10. The 10 went down. So a good 8 fill, so 128 plus. This is makeable. There's a slant off the back of the 2 that should push right to the 7. And it does. So 138 plus, Dan. Chris hoping to get back on a roll here. Oh! Looked like that was going to be a strike, but I think as the 2-pin was coming off the wall, it caught a piece of wood and came up short of taking down the 8. So 9 out of 10 it is. I would rather have the 52 first half instead of the 52 second half on a string like this. Absolutely. Well, they give you the wood, you might as well use it. Chris will take it for the spare. Dan looking to finish up with a fill. Off his mark, but a great drop with an 8, so a 146 for Dan Esdale is a hell of a string for him. Nice string, Dan. Alrighty, let's see if Chris can square himself out here. So 101 plus. One of his better balls, but deflected once it hit the head pin and ran away. So he's looking at the 5, 9, 10. He's got an interesting piece of wood lined up against the 5 that I think it's a little too far forward to use it as a snowplow, but at least it's aiming in the right direction. So hopefully a good hit here should make this happen. And it does. We'll clip that for him. So 118 plus the ball. A couple of spares late probably have saved him. Boom, and nothing. Well, you know, I guess on the other side, you would have wasted a strike, but a solid 9 fill to bring him to a 127. So I'm sure he's going to be happy with the finish on that string. 4 marks, all of them with solid fills. All right, Justin is up and filling that spare with 8 as he's off the head pin, leaving himself a 110. Nate a little tight, looking at the 136. Oh! We'll clip that one for the sake of the spin. Justin picks up the spare to keep his streak alive. Nate, unfortunately, doesn't. So. I think that's a fair call, Justin. He's been struggling, I think, in the tournament so far. So Nate picks up the 10. Chris's first 2 strings were a 110 and a 93. So might as well have them at the beginning of the day instead of the end, right? Whew. Justin's ball was off the mark and it ran away on him. He's got the 4 horse to the left. Thank you. Just got the word from Danny Finn that the cut is 18 this string. Nate's got a little bit of a snowplow here, and it does its job. Gets a much needed spare. Justin settles for a 9. Cut is 18, so let me get back to my score sheet. Try to get that in real quick. And I did. Alrighty, so Justin comes firing in. Head pin wraps around, so he's looking at a 257. No wood in the middle to help him. Nate a little off his mark. Leaves the 4 horse to the right, so he'll fill that spare with a 6. Good ball by Justin to pick up that spare, nice and clean. Alrighty, can Nate run it down? I think he hit it a little thinner than he wanted, and he's got the 10 pin staring him in the face, and not exactly what he wanted. So. Oh, a nice little pickup of the 3-4-6 over there on 14. I didn't see who did it. Nate picks up the single, so 81 with 2 to go. Justin off the mark, but gets a 6 fill. He's got the 1, 3, 4, 7. What do you got, Johnny?
Yeah, we had Dan Esdell with the 146. Chris McDonough just finished the 148. Dean Sullivan at a 141. Tim Douglas at a 116. I think that's the other one.
Alrighty.
That's what I got so far. I'll check this in right now.
Bunch of 140s out there, so it's
Looks like the average will be going up.
the scores have definitely been happening.
Especially on the right end here. Right end of the house as usual, picking it up.
Yeah. Justin fills his spare by getting a 3-2 split.
Bob Allard finished with a 152.
152 for Allard. Wow. Justin a little off to the right there, so now he's still looking at the 3-4-7. Might as well get 2 and settle for the 139. Nate with another 4 horse, and just off his head pin again. So 1-3-10. Justin settles for an 8, a 138, a good string. 1, 2, 3, 7 marks. Nate's in trouble, sitting at 90. One to go for Nate. We'll see what he can do here. Just having a hard time with the head pin. He's just not off by much, but he's just off by enough. So, a 1-2-7 with a big strike thrown over there on 14. Oh, it's Kacharna. There you go, Nate. Welcome back. We got Jason Doucette starting off. He is filling a spare. Fills it with 9. Everything but the 6 pin goes down. No wood to help him on picking it up. We'll see what happens. Nate with the fill. That kind of sums up his string for him. On the head pin and just brutalized. Settles for 4. So a 104 for Nate, which I can't imagine is something that he's happy about at all. And Jason there settles. What am I missing? Oh, it was a 2 fill. And then a 9 box. Okay. Dan Lasko stepping up. I'm going to cut over to the 3rd string. I missed his 2. Dan's got a wobbler, but it's going to hold up. Misses his mark. Jason trying to kick himself back into a hope of life. Settles for a 9. Dan picks up the 10. That was a split before. Alrighty, let's see what Jason can do here if he can get himself back on track. Unfortunately, this time he's off to the left, punches out a spread eagle. Dan's on the head pin, gets everything to kind of tumble over to the left. Looking at the 4-7. Oh, I hate that after a half Worcester. Jason punches out the 1-9, so he's got the check mark to the right and the 4-7 over to the left. Dan with a pretty good setup for a spare. Gets the wood high and heavy in the gutter and picks it out. Ouch. All right, Jason, shake that one off as he punches out the 6 pin and has to settle for a 5 box, which is certainly not what anybody wants. And Jason with another spread eagle, this time to the right. Wow. Dan throws a beautiful ball, heavy on the pocket, just like you'd want. And he's sitting here looking at a 4-10 split to show for him. He has a sideways plank on the 10, but he's got a straight plank in front of it that's going to block him from getting to it. He might have been able to hit the outside of the 10 to push that wood along. Oh, he hits the front plank, kicks off the side wall, and has nothing to show. Jason has to settle for an 8, so he's struggling. 90 with a box to go, so just like Nate Lee's. Got a bit of a hole to try to dig himself out of here. Dan settles for the 8, so 98 with 2 to go. Finally, a good head pin hit for Jason as he leaves himself the right wing. Looking at the 3-6-10. Jeff, he needs you to root for him, man, because it's been brutal for him this second half. Oh, Dan with a half Worcester off to the right. Jeff, he let you down. He let you down. Shaking his head as he knew he needed that. 18 people fall to the axe this round. What's that? Go ahead, John.
Mike Capone with the 137. Dave Barber with the 139. Bobby Wickham, don't hold me on that. 132, I think.
Okay.
Dan Esdell with the 146. Chris McDonough with the 148.
Looks like we got Daly with a 61.
61, wow. Dean Sullivan with the 141. Is that one?
Yep.
Danny Harris with 142.
I don't see that one in there yet. But yep.
Tim Douglas, I gave that one already. That's all I got so far.
Alrighty.
Definitely scores are
We're seeing scores in. Like I said,
both sides.
big ones. Josh Daly with a 161. Chris Parkinson with a 160. Justin Scaly with a 153. Oh, as Lasco picks off the last two for a 117, and hopefully that's going to keep him above the threshold. There's a lot of rough strings out there. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people under 100. 18 are going to get cut this round, so we'll see where the cut mark is.
You're gonna be right on it there, Dan.
So as we see, Chris Winiar's with a 127, Dan Esdale 146, Nate Lees 104, Justin Lyonnais 138, Dan Lasco 117, and Jason Doucette 99. So I get the feeling that the 104 and 99 are going to be. Hey, Ronald, thank you for popping by and saying hello over there in Chicopee. And Jeff, I think you're right. Jason's already reaching back into his wallet. So
I think the Rock came in with 100, so he's got to reach.
there's the sort. So 18 are out. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. It looks like 108 might be all it takes to get knocked out this time around. So I'm going to pause my mic. I'm going to play a thank you for our sponsors, and then we'll see where the tournament stands after that. Alrighty, with that done, we're still waiting to see where things stand. We're going to hear about it. 7 out of 10 on the head pin. 7 out of 10 on the head pin.
It's only 18 this time.
3 spares, 3 splits.
You know what my biggest problem is?
What's that?
My biggest problem is in my footing. I can't find a spot. The approaches are so big. And, well, no, it is. I changed my approach when I hurt my hip last year. When I hurt my hip last year, I changed my approach. I would have used to be way back more, but now I'm more compact. Almost like Donnie Richmond was. I'm more compact and close. I'm more let my arm do more of the work than my legs. There's that fear of blowing on my hip again.
Yeah.
Because it's not the bone. The bone you can do without for 2 or 3 weeks. Can you go without work?
Well, it's like, you know, a baseball pitcher has a hang down. Next thing you know, he tears his shoulder because he's holding onto the ball different.
That's the biggest. The biggest.
You think the cat's still going to be one away?
What's that?
Trust me. In this here too, if I thought it was gonna be like,
He's got the numbers, isn't he? He's got the numbers already. It's already like
There's a lot of low strings.
a lot of people.
You should be all right.
You should be fine. Yeah. It's gonna be in the
18 around.
110.
18 around. So sitting here with Dan Lasco and John Ahern, looking at the stats.
To advance the next round without using a buyback, you must have bowled a 107 or better.
Nice,
That's a
easy round.
107 or better. The buyback for this string is $30.
my kids can eat today.
I gotta run.
All right, John. Good hanging with
See
you.
you around soon.
See you
I'll
on
see you on
Tuesday.
Tuesday. I got some warm up.
We're getting ready. I don't know who's coming in. Oh, I think that's Fernando, and I think he's bowling third.
Like on a curve. I hope they pack up and leave because
Jim and Ali Barber, I believe, are with him.
How many we eliminate this time? 45?
And everybody's off to the races. So we got Chris Winiarz over there on 16 as we get ready for string 4, round 4 of Outrun the Bear here at Ryan and Family Amusements in Millis, Mass. I'll bring up my score sheet. That's Jim Nestor, I believe, up there. A bowler I've never met. And away we go. Jeff, you'll still be able to see your brother over there. He's bowling just off the screen, but Chris off his mark. Jim, for better or worse, is on it. So Chris is looking at the 1-3-7. Jim holding on with the 5-7-8, a little backwards tree. Chris just off his mark, knocks out the 2-pin. Jim picks up the 7 and the 8, but leaves the 5 in the middle. Chris will settle for a 9 box as he opens up, and so will Jim. That latest camera wobble provided courtesy of Nate Lees as he's trying to sneak past people here. Well, Chris is off the head pin for the second time, this time over to the left. All he's got to deal with is the 1 and the 6. He's got a nice piece of wood between the two of them. Jim, right on the head pin, and gets them all. Chris picks up the baby split the way that you'd imagine it would have gone. A couple of marks here in the second box. I see Kate Finn over there with her phone getting some video for Candlepin Bowling on TikTok. Chris to fill the spare on the head pin. Knocks the 9 pin forward, but it doesn't make contact with the 5 pin. He has to settle for the 9 drop. Jim off the head pin settles for the half Worcester to the right, but that's a strike. You get 2 balls on it, so let's see if he can make up for it here. Chris, no doubt about it, as he picks up the 5 pin for the spare. So back-to-back spares, and if you keep filling them with 9s, that'll leave you feeling good all day long. Heck of a shot by Jim coming back at it. Has to settle for 8 on the fill. He's got the 5-10 hanging out there for the 10. He's got a great piece of wood in between the two of them, so this looks like it'll go, and it does. 37 through 3 for Jim. Chris sitting at 38 plus a ball here as he sets into fill. On the head pin, another kick off the wall. Settles for 8 and a great setup with some wood as he's looking at the 3-5. Jim, unfortunately, is on the head pin and is an 8 pin short of a spread eagle. Chris picks up 3 in a row as he just absolutely crushes the wood. Hit really well by Jim as he slides the 3 pin over into the 2, but that's where it dies. He's left with a 4-7-8, a piece of wood planking across the front of him. Oh! Unfortunately caught it on the cap, so he's going to sit with a 7 box. Let's see if Chris can keep his streak going. He's sitting at 56 plus this ball. Really nice release, good follow through. Solid 8 drop. He's left with the 4-8, no wood to help him. Jim a little to the right, leaves himself the 4 horsemen to the left. Chris, 74 plus, a really solid half. As a matter of fact, I think at this point in time, he's pretty much thrown his first string. Oh, Jim, just off the head pin to pick up the 4 horsemen. Nando, you're third. Oh, off by a sliver as Jim misses the head pin. Oh, I lied. Fernando is second. So we got Fernando and Nate Lee stepping up to start off their strings here in round 4. I still see all sorts of action out there. Nate.
Yeah, Nate, be that smart.
He needed that all of last string. He finally gets at this string as he starts out with a hammer. Nando's got that little backwards ball and some great action as he hits the pins. Clears out everything but the 1, 2, 4, unfortunately, as he was just off the head pin. But a nice, simple, pretty cleanup. That's not a strike, that's a spare. Nate looking for 2. Not going to get it, unfortunately, as he hits the 4 and takes out the back left triangle. But hey, it's a strike. It'll look fine if he does something good here. Fernando looking for his fill. Oh. Unfortunately for him, it's not a strike as he punches out the half Worcester left. Nate just off the head pin, but still settles for an 8 fill on a strike. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So he's got the 1, 2 to pick it up for a 10. Let's see if Nando can come back. He hits the head pin, gets a good mix, but unfortunately everything but the 4 and the 5. Oh, Nate chops out the head pin for a 9. Fernando also settles for a 9, so a pair of 9s as these guys go into their third box. And as I promised the Outrun the Bear folks, I'm going to stream 4 strings and then I will stop. So the good news is coverage from Candlepin Corners still continues over here. Chris Waterman is still filming on lanes 19 and 20, so his stream will continue, even though mine... Wow! The center Worcester, 1-5 punched out by Fernando. Oh, a pretty pickup by Nate as he bounces it off the baby split to carry the 10. So we'll clip that one. See if Fernando can come back from this. knocks out the 4-8. So he's got 4 on the right, and then the 2 and the 7 over on the left. So we'll see how he can carve his way out of this hole. I shouldn't have said hole. He's going to settle for a 4 box as he throws it right through the head pin. All right, Fernando, rally, come right back at it. Nate was up high and heavy on the head pin. What looked like was going to be a split has worked itself out to just being a 6-pin pickup. So, good for him. There we go. Fernando right back at it. Solid head pin hit. He's got a nice plank sitting across the front of the 7. Nate had one sitting across his. He nails the duck. And let's hope the same here for Fernando, as he does. So a pair of spares here in the 4th for these guys. Nate sitting at 56 plus. Fernando, unfortunately, sitting at 35 plus, so he'll at least help get his ship righted. Hopefully he can stack up another one here to set himself up for the second half. Another solid head pin hit for Nate. He gets some good mixing out of it and is sitting there with nothing but a 10-pin. Over. All right. So Fernando looked like he was looking at something ugly for a bit. Turns into a nice solid 8-pin drop. Nate rides it out, so gonna one-up Chris Winiar's there, a 75 to a 74 half, and Fernando does absolutely straighten his string out. Hangs the spare heading into the second half, so he's at 53 plus through first 5. Thanks, half, Nate. So Chris, you beat your first string. Almost.
First game was 110.
Oh, was it your second that went down?
Second was 93, yeah.
All right, I'm the asshole.
I dropped 10. I dropped 10. I'm right there. I dropped 9.
All right, so Dan starts out on the head pin with a split. He's got the 4-7-10. He's got an interesting piece of wood that makes you think maybe you can try to bounce that to kick into the 10, push over to the 4-7. Unfortunately for Allie, she starts out with a half Worcester, but she's right back on the head pin. Does a pretty good job, but doesn't get as much love out of that as she wants. Looking at the 4-6-10. Hopefully get at least 9 out of this. Dan shoots the gap to settle for a 9. Allie, just off her mark, has to take an 8. Couple of opens from the 3rd bowlers as we go here in the 4th string. I believe the cut is still at 18 this time around. All but 2 bowlers are still in this competition. Oh, is Allie going to get the roll? No. Posied right up. Dan's off the head pin. I can't give him a split. But he's got the 1-3-7. Allie has the 7-8 with a piece of wood that she... Oh! It didn't look like it was going to go, but she managed to catch the back of it just enough. See if Dan can pick up the 10 here. Ooh. Up and heavy on the head pin, so he'll settle for an 8. Allie left that one a little one outside, so she's going to settle for 4 on the spare. There were 67 at the start of the competition. We're down to 65 after 3 strings. For the sake of protecting the innocent, I won't mention who Actually, I take it back. There are 4 bowlers that are out at this point in time, so we're down to 63. Oh, Dan comes back to pick up the spare with a nice solid ball, and it's like Allie's going to pick up the 10. The score sheet is available. I believe you can find it by going to the Outrun the Bear page on Facebook. I believe they've got the link to the live score sheet there. Both bowlers solid on the head pin. Unfortunately for Dan, he's got the wing to the right and then the 7 pin hanging out all the way to left. He's got an interesting piece of wood where the head pin is. Let's see if he can carry this. No, wasn't far enough forward. Oh, both bowlers having a tough time on the conversion as Allie chips the 2 off the sidewall, but it drops in between the 4 and the 7 without taking out either one of them. Oh, Dan finds that room between the wood and the pin, settles for a 9. Allie picks up the 10, so a pair of 42s with a box left in their hat. Dan a little outside, takes a half Worcester on the right. Allie's straight on the head pin. Leaves herself the 3, 6, 7. Dan's second ball beautifully on the head. Oh! Allie picks up a pretty spare. Let's play that one again as we watch Dan try to pick up a single pin here. And he doesn't. He leaves it for a 9. So there we have the first half. And let's see if Chris Winiars can keep this string going. Nice pickup. So Chris stepping up is at 74 plus. Jim, after a 53 half, is looking to get himself going. Chris is off the mark, but some great action. Still gives him a decent field there with a 7, so 81 as he looks at the 1, 6, 10. Well, Jim, unfortunately, is going to have to make a 1-board adjustment there as he's just off the head pin. So is Chris, but way to read it. That's right. Jim, a little heavy on the head pin, punches out the 1-9, so he's got a little bit of work here with the 3, 6, 4, 7 for the 10. Winiars now with 5 in a row. Jim will settle for a 7, so 60 through 6. The competition has been tough out there, so he's going to have to really step it up on that. Winiars with 5.5 on the fill, so I'm going to give him 5. He has the 4 horsemen to the right, with the 8 trailing behind it, and the lane is dry. Jim, dead on the head pin, has the 7-10 to show for it, so that's unfortunate. He's got 2 pieces of wood over to the left that you never know. You got to hit it and see what happens. Chris up high on the 4 horse, takes out the 1-3, but that's it. So 6, 8, 10 for the 10. Oh, there you go. You got to play the wood in those situations, and when it works out, it's great. Chris will settle for the 9 as his spares come to an end. I may disappear for 1 second. I'll have to play catch up on the scores when I come back. Deja vu is Chris once again, 4 horse and the 8.
Do you need, are you ready?
We'll be back. And then a couple of half Worcesters. So if you're going to miss something for a little bit of period of time, at least get it when these guys slow down just a bit. So Chris picks up the 10, so 125 with a box to go. Oh no. And unfortunately for Jim, a pair of half Worcesters is all he gets for that as he bunny holes on the way out. It's tough when you're looking at that TP. So 87 with a box. Chris is at 125 with a box. And that's all of them. And they gave Jim a head pin he doesn't need. Jim looking at the 147. Oh, and a beautiful pickup there. Needs as much as he can get here. We don't know what the cut's going to be. I'm imagining 18 people are out yet again. Chris is off his mark, but it's a strike. It doesn't matter. You get 2 balls on this. Jim settles for 3 to break 100. But he knows that's not what he's going to need. Chris takes the 8. 143. A nice solid string by Chris Winiars. 81 in the first half, 62 in the second. So here we have Fernando Gacharna and Nate Lees stepping up, both of them working on spares. Nate Lees on your right, wearing the t-shirt that says Lees. Imagine that. I agree with you, Justin. That's rough. A nice solid 8 fill to start off the second half for Nate, putting him at 83 for a first half. So let's see if we can do it again. It's good. Yeah. Looks good. I'm looking around at the scores out there. See a couple of 110s. Obviously the 143 by Chris. I see a 120 a few lanes down. I see 120s a few lanes down either way. I see, I think, of 137 all the way down the end on my right. So again, some big numbers out there. Yeah, it was Tim Douglas with a 137. Billy Shiner, 124. Jason Gauthier Jr., 125. Justin Scally, 122. Brandon Martins, 122. Cody 50, 126. Looks like Nate didn't want to do anything after that. Nate's off the head pin, looking at a 137 and 8. Well, sorry, 127 and 8. It's over to the right there. Left. I'm all out of it right now. Oh, Fernando. Half Worcester right. So he punches right through. What's going on, Matt? as Nate converts. Oh! Way to read it! Fernando off the head pin, but great action coming backwards. Knocks down the head pin to convert that half Worcester into a spare. Doesn't matter how it happens as long as it does, right? Nate off to the right. Takes out 6, leaving the 4 horse to the left. We'll see what Fernando can do here on the spare. Oh, just off his mark, and the ball kind of sweeps away. So he's got the 4 horse on the left, but also the joy of the 9 and the 10 hiding up behind him. So a 4 fill for him. Knocks out the 2 and the 4, so Nate settles for a 9. Fernando's looking at the 1, 7, 9, 10. If he can get the 1 on the right-hand side, this may go. Oh, just off the 1 by a bit, which unfortunately drills him right through the 9. He has to settle for a 7 box. There it is. Nate looking to be just like Chris, just a box earlier, so drops a big old hammer right there in the 9th. See if Fernando can do the same. He's on the head pin. Looking at the 3, 6, 7 as he ends up with a pretty rough split there. Oh! Nice ball, Fernando. Picks up that nice, boring split. Beautiful ball. Nate looking for 2 in a row, is off to the right, cleans out the right side. So the 1, 5 and everything to the left, but it is a strike, so he's got a second ball to throw on it. We'll see how this cleans up. Go over! Wow. Hits it, you think everything's going to go the way that it should. That 5 pin is a loose tooth, but it won't go down. So a 9 on the strike for Nate, sitting at 135 plus, which means he's managed to stay at least the 1 pin ahead of Chris. Potential for a 145 here. Fernando, once again, a beautiful ball on the head pin and an awful leave. Nate picks up the single for the 10 and a 145. Fernando with a 2-1 split here as he looks at the 2, 4, 6. Looking for back-to-backs. No such love. He managed to pick out the 2, 4. Leaves the 6 alone on this last ball. So a 115 for Fernando. That might be tough to survive with that this late in the match. We'll see what happens. So we'll bring up Allie and Dan to finish up their strings here. They're both having pretty tight first halves. Dan with a 51, Allie with a 52 plus right now. So we'll see how they can finish up here. Dan starts out on the head pin. Leaves himself the reverse check mark. Allie's also on the head pin, but as the ball peels away and the wood leaves, she's stuck looking at a 5, 8, 10, but a 7 fill on her spare. Dan leaves the ball a little further out than he'd want. Allie chips away a single pin, so Dan needs the 6-9. Allie needs the 5-10. Every pin counts. Dan settles for a 9, and so does Allie. All right, 4 boxes to go here. Hands off the head pin, but that's still not necessarily the end of all things. Gets an 8 drop, only the 1-3 to get it. Looked like it might have turned into a spare. Allie on the head pin has to deal with a left wing. So the 2-4-7 with a nice piece of bracing wood against it. Oh, Dan would want that, and Allie, both of them would want that back. Dan takes out just the 1, and Allie as well. Just takes out the 2, hitting it a little too thin. Dan covers it. So does Allie. So a pair of 10s as these guys continue to plunk their way through the second half. So 70 and 78 through 7 respectively. Dan still short of the head pin. Allie right on it. Is that going to push the 5? Please do. Alrighty, so Dan is left with the 1-2-7-8 and some interesting wood to support it. Allie's split has turned into a nice 4-7 leave. There you go, Dan. And Allie as well, so I'm going to clip 10 seconds there and probably get 2 spares in 1. Alrighty, so 80 plus and 88 plus through 8 for these guys. And we'll see what we can do for fills here. Good ball from Dan. Unfortunately, too good. Right on the head pin, leaves himself the spread eagle. Allie manages to pick up 7 as the head pin wraps around and leaves the triangle on the left. I think she left that one a little too much in the center, so. No spare for her as Dan punches out 2 from the right wing, looking to clean it up. Takes out 2 from the left wing. So 8 for Dan has him at 92. And the single pin has Allie at 104. So both bowlers need marks. 66? Who threw the 66? I see 46. You got me questioning myself, Dan.
I got you.
Lasco picks up the spare, trying to bail himself out at the last minute. Leaves another split on the table for a 108. Allie struggles with an 8 for a 112. So, a couple of bowlers that may be on the bubble here in this one. Alrighty, so I'm checking my stuff. I think I'm okay here. So 100, 143, 115, 145, 112, and 108. As we wait to hear on what the cuts are. It looks tight. Waiting to see more strings come into the score sheets. I see 146s by Kevin Pagington and Mark Gallagher. And again, as I agreed, this will be my last string that I stream, so I'll be breaking it down once I can provide some good updates on the state of the tournament for everybody. Again, Chris Waterman will continue to be streaming on behalf of Candlepin Corner. He is over on lanes 19 and 20. His stream should also be going here in the Candlepin Corner Facebook page.
Oh, that was the 4th game. Yeah. I was watching. Is that 27 plus 30 something? Good job. Good job.
We're waiting to hear what the status is. I believe the cut will be 18 again.
Might make it by one.
How about me?
No. I have a shot? Yeah, you have a shot. 108 might be the cut.
I saw you miss our walk out here.
Okay, let's do this right. What am I doing wrong? Oh, a lot of things, right? Let me fix my stuff. Still waiting on the final strings to come in. I think we see most of them. I see 3 107s that are about where the cut line normally is. There is still bowling going on in the round. So if 18 is where the cut is, it's 112. But I didn't hear how many people were on the cut line. Oh, take it back, it could be 110. Front cut would be 110 or lower. Waiting to hear about the last few bowlers. Sonia, Matt, Nick, Ryan, and Lou.
Lou.
Waiting to hear the news. I know Danny's going down, chasing down a few strings. But again, coverage will continue.
Oh, I had that coming. Oh, yeah.
To advance to the next round without using a buyback, you must have bowled a 111 or better. However, we have a 1-box roll-off between Dan Esdale and Andrew Therian. You're going to throw one box on your lane. Lowest score is eliminated because neither bowler owns a buyback.
Come on, Dan, let's go.
Come on, Esdale. Take the hammer.
Get up! 7-10.
Just another two-pinner.
Come on, get a 10 block. It's a big. Come on, as he did. Yeah, just a single white. Get a 10. Just get a 10. Big pin. Oh, good job. Big 10.
All right, so Esdale stays alive.
Dan
Couple quick
Esdale
announcements.
winning off the
First,
single.
Chris Waterman's $50 prize fund for the highest string in the fourth string goes to Mike Capone. Mike Capone won the $50, but he has no idea why he won. So, for Chris Waterman sponsored $50 for the highest in the fourth string, and you had the highest for the fourth string.
He didn't know about it.
Also, another announcement, CNC Ice Cream actually is going to drop by with the ice cream truck, so if you guys want to grab ice cream in a little bit, feel free to go out and support them. They've been a sponsor of us in the past. We also have one more big announcement to make before we keep going, and that is we have a brand new high women's triple. Lennis McKinley with a 407, the first 400 that I've ever seen in this house, so congratulations to Glennis.
Alrighty, so as you can see right there, Dan Esdale has won a single box roll-off to stay alive as we head into round 5. I'm going to continue to stream for just a little bit while I find out and can provide an update on the state of the tournament for everybody here that's watching before I shut down. But bear with me as I try to make sense of converting my stats into their stats so I can get you everything that we should have. I want to make sure I've captured all of the appropriately spent buybacks. Lou Gacharna, Chris McDonough. Got him in there. Scott Douglas, got him in there. Corey Packer, got him in there. Fernando got him spent. JJ, I got him spent. Chris McClellan, got him spent. Barber had her spent. Dan Esdale, his was spent in the first string. Andrew Therian was spent. Dominic Palladino spent his in 3. Excuse me. Dan Lasko with a 108. He had spent his in the first. Justin Kochi had spent his in the first and the second. I'm watching some good bowling there as I saw Douglas blow everything up behind my screen. Jim Nestor just used his buyback in this last string. Keith Bupre finished good to not. Kevin also not. Just having fun here, trying to find things up. I'm going to let the camera roll in the background and let you watch the bowling. Ryan Frias had used it in all first 3.
Why there's 2 halves to a game, buddy?
See if I can get a refresh here to see any other buybacks that were used. So in that round, it looks like buybacks were used by Bob Lee. Let me sort this so I can see it. Buybacks were used by Jim Nestor and Phil Clough. Alrighty, so there's not a lot of people that still have their buybacks left. I'm going to assume that my ticker will present itself to be useful here. I'll show the scores from the 4th round. I will modify the cut to be at 110. And we should see who is in and who is not as it cycles through the bowlers. Excuse me.
I won't take any 2 bitters.
I'm like, really?
Just finishing up my math here.
There you go, Aaron.
All right, that should be good. Well, we'll let this run for a bit. And then I'm going to play one final thank you and get myself out of there. Hey, Marcus, thanks for popping by. I absolutely love Candlepin. It's why I do this. It's why I have the fun doing what I do. But I told these guys I was going to do 4 strings and get out of their way. So I'm going to do that. I thank everybody for watching. And I'd like to give one more thank you to the sponsors here that are allowing this tournament to be had. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you around. I lied. What you're seeing here are highlight clips from earlier rounds in the tournament.
I will get her with
Figured I'd be happy to share with everybody. Poor Phil getting robbed on the 7-pin there. Chris Parkinson with a hammer on the 10th. This is how you fill a spare without trying. You're watching Lou fall down on the... Do you believe that? Dan Asdale just knocking the ducks down. Nick with an unusual leave here with the plank across the front. Blows it up beautifully and shoots that wood halfway up the lane. Off the cap, off the 5, off the 10 for Phil Clough. It's never over, is it? Don't ask me why I took a highlight clip of a reset, but I did. Nick early on, and my tracker not working right, explodes the 1-2 pocket. Justin Lyonnaise with a solid head pin hit. Phil with an even more solid head pin hit. 80 years old and throwing strikes like anybody else. Chris Winiarz picking up the 1-7. Justin with the 9-pin falling back into the 5 for the early strike. Dan's like, I can do these too. Crosses over and takes the Brooklyn strike. And follows it up with a high, heavy, hard pocket strike. Winiar's 5, 9, 10. Snowplow. Remember, right? This might have been a pair of spares, but all the spinny action. Nope, this wasn't a pair of spares. Nate pushing the 1, 2, 7 perfectly. Jim Nestor, while he had a tough string, felt good with that ball. Nate Lee's on the pocket strong. Was on a crossover though. That was a 1-3. Looking at the 2, 7, 10. The ball caromed right off the wood. Took the 10 on the fly. Got just enough of the back of the 7 there for Allie. And then right after that, exploding the 3, 6, 7. Jim still having a tough string, but yet the 7, 10 split. Chris looking to not give up on the string just yet. Gets the sideways kick on the 5-pin. Jim not wanting to be done. Another 1, 4, 7. Seems to be a common spare picked up today. Fernando again trips the underside of the head pin, shaking his head on converting the half Worcester into a full spare. 8 with another solid strike. Keeping pace with Chris Winiar's all the way through that string. A beautiful split pickup by Lou there, knocking the 3, 6, 7. Pair of spares by Dan Lasko and Allie. And we've snuck back to live. So, true to form, I'm going to say thank you to everybody, and I am going to get out of here. Take care.